A discussion about Hekate, as some people actually mispronounce her name as Hekate, but it's actually pronounced Hekate. Now, in some cultures, people say it more like Hecate. Other cultures, they completely leave the H off and say it like Hekate. It just depends on your preferences. She is one of my patron goddesses, one of the ones that I really look up to, really envy. Something about her beautiful dark energy always drew me in. I even have her tattooed on my leg. And her being known for her associations with ravens and dogs suits me perfectly because the raven is my totem animal, and I am also a dog lover, of course. Obviously, you can tell that I have some sort of strong connection with the raven because I use raven in a lot of the things that I do online. I call her the Dark Mother because of her triple goddess aspect. Overseer of all worlds, from above to below and in between. She has a motherly aspect that only some people have been privileged enough to see, as her darkness is similar to that of Lilith, and many people fear her, just like they fear Lilith. But if approached in the right manner, you will see a different side of her. She is also one of the queens of the dark fairies. She's not the queen, but she is one of them. Similar to Gaia, how she is the mother of light and oversees the light fairy. Well, Gaia also has, the triple goddess aspect. She has the mother aspect, the overseer. I was just looking back at some of my notes, and I thought this would be interesting to share. At one point, I evoked Hekate, and I was writing about what I did in my journal, and then I shared some of these notes online in one of the forums, and I put, I will be evoking Hekate tonight in just a bit and asking her to send me a dark fairy as a familiar, and also have her imbue her energy into a handmade ring that I made in dedication to her. I made it out of colored jewelry wire and molded it into the shape of a flower because, flowers are feminine, and she's definitely female. And, her feminine aspects do show. And the stone in the middle was actually a moonstone. And that is actually one of her favorite gemstones. And basically on that night, I asked her to give me some of her energy, which the ring would be empowered with. Instead of like a talisman or a symbol necklace or something made of metal to form a special link with her, I decided to try something different by making this handcrafted ring, and it's not like the usual rings that other magicians use. Most other magicians use just a plain band in like silver, copper, hematite, some type of energy receptive metal. But I wanted something special, as Hekate can inspire creativity, and she loves gemstones. So I felt, that she deserved something special and unique, and I thought she would appreciate it, and she did. So after the evocation of her, I also recorded my findings, as usual, and I stated last night was definitely unusual, the morning after I had done the ritual. The energy in the room was equal to that of a demonic king. Hekate is no joke. She is very dark and powerful, but her energy is so comforting. When she empowered the ring for me, it felt so good that I almost went to sleep at one point, and it even made me feel a little sexually excited, but that happens sometimes with darker entities, and that's nothing to be ashamed of because it's out of your control, and that's normal, actually. They can activate your root chakra. Her voice is very comforting as well. And anyway, she agreed to send me a familiar that I asked for, and as always, I was told it would be a few days before she arrives, because she likes to, match make you with the right one, sort of like Lilith. Lilith is a matchmaker. If you ask her to send an entity to you, she won't just send you the first one that she can find. She'll basically send you one that's right for you. And now to get to the weird parts, though, not only did Hekate place random visuals right in front of my face, like having visions, these visions were in the air instead of in my head. So instead of like a meditative visual, it was almost like I was on an acid trip and I was seeing things. And I wasn't on any drugs at the time. And I also had not been awake for like 30 hours or anything like that. I think I'd only been awake for like 9 hours when I did this ritual. But I saw visuals of her in a dark forest with ravens. and nonstop orbs when she was around, like in my favorite colors nonetheless. The beautiful deep blue and purple glowing balls of light that sometimes almost seemed to flicker like flames. And my candles went haywire, like flickering out of control, almost extinguishing themselves at one point. You know, the colors that normally represent her are deep blue, deep purple, and black, and silver as well. And, you know, those are like all of my favorite colors. There were actually lots of unexplained lights. Like, my camera was on a tripod, and I was filming this for YouTube. And actually, this video was already on my channel. It's one that's titled "Strange Orbs" or something like that during a ritual. Well, she was who I was evoking when I filmed that video. It was very strange because at one point I looked up at my TV that was close to me. It was actually, my TV was actually in front of me. It was completely off, but I kept seeing a bunch of strange lights and glows and stuff reflecting through my TV, and they were completely separate from the candles I had going, and they were not even the same color. These were like orbs and stuff and glows. And the weirdest thing was they did not show up on camera. Like, now I got some little flashing orbs and stuff that did show up in that video, but like these gigantic bright lights that just appeared out of nowhere, I saw those on the reflection of my black turned off TV screen, but those did not show up on film for some reason. And I kept looking around and I could not find any direct source for that light at all. And at one point, since I had the camera in front of me so that I could film, a through my own eyes point of view, I actually looked down and I saw 4 white orbs on the view screen of my camera that were arranged into the shape of like a square, and they kept glowing and flashing. And again, like, I could see them on the camera as it was being recorded, but I couldn't see them with the naked eye. So when I looked down at the camera screen, I could see the lights there, but when I looked up directly in front of me, I didn't see anything. So of course, when I checked the video later on, all I could see was just these 2 little tiny faint flickering lights instead of the 4 bigger glowing lights that I originally saw. It was very weird. And then I don't have like a recording limit on my camera for like my memory card or anything. I've got a very massive memory card, so I've got my camera set to pretty much stay on. There's no like eco power off modes. It'll stay on until I turn it off or until the battery dies. Like halfway during the video, my camera just turned itself off completely. Like, I heard a little zzz, like a little buzzing noise. I saw the lens retracting and it just turned completely off. And I immediately turned it back on, and I was like, what the heck? The battery it's showing full battery bars, and I know it should be fully charged because I just charged it completely right before I started the ritual. And I was only like 10 minutes into the ritual when the camera turned off. So I don't know what in the world happened. And I tried turning my camera back on and pressing record again, and it just kept turning itself off, like every 2 seconds. And there was nothing wrong with my camera because it was literally almost a brand new camera. But she just did not want me to record any of that after that point. And then after that, the orange light that's on my desktop computer, it usually only flashes like to indicate that a memory stick or a portable hard drive or, something external has been plugged into it. But it started flashing on its own. And my computer was in sleep mode the whole time. Nothing was plugged in. So, there were lots of lights and glowing orbs, and I swear at one point in the video, it looks like something walked behind me. And you can actually see that in the Strange Orbs video that I uploaded on YouTube. It looks like almost like a face starting to appear, but then pulls back, and it's strange. And one more really cool occurrence that I had was one time I was over the road traveling, and I was sitting in an RV and didn't really have anything else to do, so I just started meditating. Like, all of a sudden, the name Hekate popped into my head, and I was like, okay, maybe she wants to speak to me or something, because I'm not, evoking anybody right now. And I just got like a strong urge to look out my window, and all of a sudden I looked out my window, and like a tree that I was parked right next to, I saw a raven fly and sit down on the tree. And this was an actual raven. This was not a crow. And it flew onto the branch, and then all of a sudden there was a second one, a third one, fourth one. And before you know, this entire tree was covered with like 20 ravens, which I thought was weird because her name popped into my mind, and then all of a sudden 20 ravens right around my vehicle. And, ravens are one of the animals that she is well known to have a connection with. I just thought that was weird. I had some other unusual experiences after that, but it was strange. It was like her way of trying to connect with me. And then at one point I even got up and like drove down the street because I was hungry and wanted a sandwich. And like some of these ravens were literally following me, like flying beside my vehicle down the road. And then of course when I pulled in the parking lot and, you know, went in to get my sandwich and came back out, those ravens were in another tree that was closest to me. So like they kept following me, and the ravens literally followed me around that day for like probably 2 or 3 hours. So if you're thinking of, you know, evoking Hekate, I mean, she is very feminine, but there is also sort of a masculine warrior side to her as well, where she's sort of tough, you know, tough love, straightforward. I mean, she's willing to show you love, but if she thinks that you need to be pushed or you're being stubborn, you know, has no problem with sort of giving you that push that you need. And she loves animals, especially, like I said, dogs and ravens. And she is considered to be a goddess, but she is definitely one of the darker deities. And actually, there are some myths that say that she is like the queen of hell, or that she's almost like the female equivalent to Lucifer. And I mean, I haven't really looked into that too much. That's just some stories that have been circulating around for years and years on end. I mean, no, I can't say she does have some loose associations with Lucifer, but I mean, as far as being his female counterpart, that's not true. But I will say, though, if you do evoke her, she does not like to be commanded. She doesn't like it if you try to control her. So if you do evoke her, try to speak with her with respect. But I mean, don't approach her with fear, like you're terrified of her, because she can be like Lilith. If you approach her with fear and you go into it with the wrong attitude, approaching her thinking she's the queen of hell and she's some scary evil bitch or something, she's probably going to mess with your mind a little bit to try to scare you, because she's not even interested in working with people that are going to be complete cowards. So just try to go into it with a neutral mindset and, you know, speak with her respectfully. And when it comes time to end the evocation or the conversation, normally with spirits like her, I don't dismiss them like, say, you are dismissed, because they also see that as a command. I basically just end the conversation with, and you are free to go at any time that you want. She likes to be straightforward and get to the point, but if you want to have a conversation with her and get some things off your chest, maybe you're worried about something, you want to talk, she is willing to talk. She's not going to sit there and talk to you for like 40 minutes to an hour. Eventually there will come a point where you'll be able to sense and just feel the energy in the room getting a little tense, like she's getting impatient, like, will you shut up already, I want to go. But I mean, if you do have a problem and you just want to talk to her for a good 10-15 minutes or so, she is willing to do that. If you do try to work with her or make a pact, or if you promise her to do something or ask her to teach you something, like Lucifer, she is more straight to the point, like, you promised me you were going to do this, so I expect you to do it. So generally, she's a very pleasant goddess to work with, because she does have her pushy masculine side where she's all about, you know, follow through with your promises and do a good job, and I expect you to do this to the fullest of your potential. But then she's also got like her nurturing mother side that she will show to those that she is closer to, where she will aid you and teach you things and guide you and just try to give you advice and stuff to make you feel more comfortable. But a lot of people, first several times they evoke her, they're only going to get her more masculine side. It's only very rarely that someone will evoke her and get her nurturing mother side right off the bat. However, I was one of those people that the very first time I evoked her, I immediately got the mothering, feminine, nurturing side of her. But that's because I've worked with other spirits and goddesses and gods and stuff that she is close to, that she works with. And I also sort of had the kind of energy that she likes, that she looks forward to. And I mean, I basically just approached her with courage and pretty much with my goals in mind, and basically said, hey, this is what I want to talk about. This is what we're going to do. And she sort of just liked my attitude, like the way that I approached her. So things with her were like really good from the very beginning. And if you're interested in like color associations and some things like that, good candle colors to use when evoking her, definitely purple and silver. And as always, black. And if you don't have anything else, dark blue will do. Or even light blue if that's all you have on hand. She really seems to like silver talismans and amulets. Like if you have some sort of silver charm shaped like a pentagram, or a silver charm with like the triple moon goddess symbol on it. And she also likes moonstone gemstones, like blue agate, purple agate, blue goldstone, and then a few others amongst that.